That was something. That was something, right? Tom Aspinall versus Surreal Gone ends by a no contest. Tom Aspinall gets eye poked at the end of the first round. Cannot continue, cannot see. And what a waste, man. What a waste. I'm honestly speechless. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to this main event, even though there was not a proper winner. The fight was interesting, guys. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to this fight, but I'm just speechless. I'm just speechless. I cannot believe that, there's not gonna be a winner for this fight. I cannot believe that it ended in an eye poke. I just can't believe it. I mean, it was a very weird card already. So it's honestly not that surprising for this type of card for it to end on an eye poke. But man, oh man, this must hurt for Tom Aspinall. I mean, I know this sucks for Surreal Gone, which we'll get to, but dude, we were waiting for over a year to see Tom Aspinall back in that octagon, to defend his title, to fight for the undisputed, championship belt. And then he gets eye poked at the end of the first round, man. Oh, this sucks, man. This sucks. And what's the worst part about this? I feel like there's nothing you can do about it. I know people bring up, oh, well, they need to change the gloves. They need to do this. They need to do that. I mean, I don't think you can really do anything about it, man. You can't do anything about it because you need to be able to grapple in MMA. And if you make the gloves, way too restrictive, like it's gonna affect, grappling on the ground. If you make the gloves, you know, if you tighten it up where like you can't really expand your fingers, I just don't know if that really works. So I feel like there's really not a solution for this besides maybe taking a point away. But the problem here was that Tom Aspinall couldn't continue. He couldn't continue. He could not see. But man, this sucks. This sucks because let me tell you something, guys. Even though Tom Aspinall did not necessarily lose this fight, I feel like he did lose this fight. I feel like he was losing this fight. It was a very close fight. It was a very close fight. I'm not saying that Tom Aspinall was necessarily getting dominated because on YouTube, if you don't clarify, people are going to be like, well, are you saying Gane was dominating him? No, that's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying here is that the fight was a lot more competitive than Tom Aspinall at a minus 360 favorite. The fight was competitive, and I told you guys in my breakdown going into this fight that I was like, I feel like a lot of people are just overhyping Tom Aspinall when I'm not saying that you should go one way or the other, but what I'm saying here is there's still a lot of question marks. There's still a lot of questions when it comes to Tom Aspinall, and I feel like a lot of people just kind of fall with the aura, oh man, this guy's finishing everybody in the first round. He's going to do this to everybody. He's going to do this to Alex Pereira. He's going to do this to Surreal Gone. And what we saw here was that Surreal Gone was a lot more competitive, and like I told you in my video, I thought Surreal Gone was the better striker going into this matchup. I thought that if the fight stood on the feet, I thought the fight would become a 50-50, which I think in terms of that, I think my analysis of that was correct because on the feet it looked very competitive. Like, yeah, Tom Aspinall looked very fast. He was landing a 1-2, but Surreal Gone was doing such a good job of moving around the octagon, covering up, landing the jab. He's a southpaw, landing the left hand. And we saw Tom Aspinall even start to bleed a little bit from his nose. So Surreal Gone was doing excellent in this fight, man. He was doing excellent. And he was basically doing everything that I had told him to do in my video, which I said, look, he needs to play it safe early on. He needs to jab Tom Aspinall, who moves out of exchanges with his chin up in the air. And even though I don't think Surreal Gone is a guy that has a lot of power or even necessarily a counter striker, those are the type of punches and kicks and body kicks that will add up against a Tom Aspinall who hasn't been past a second round. And I think that the fact that the fight was so close early on, that is not a good sign for Tom Aspinall, guys, because Tom Aspinall is somebody who finishes everybody in the first round. So if you're already having a very competitive round, how is he going to look in the second and third round, right? Obviously, I'm assuming a little bit, but Surreal Gone, I mean, he looked incredible in that first round. I thought I was scared, man. I'm rooting for Tom Aspinall. I want Tom Aspinall to win. Of course, I was rooting for him. I thought he was going to win, but watching that first round before the eye poke, I was like, oh, this is very competitive. This is very competitive. Tom Aspinall, I think he tried to shoot for one takedown. And Surreal Gone did a very good job of defending. I thought Surreal Gone was doing an incredible job with his movement of landing those body kicks on Tom Aspinall. And I don't know, man. I thought Surreal Gone was winning. I thought Surreal Gone was winning. So even though Tom Aspinall didn't necessarily lose this fight, in a way, I felt like he lost a little bit. I felt like he lost a little bit. man, this sucks. This really sucks. Like, honestly, this sucks. Um, I'm just repeating myself at this point, but I mean, I guess the UFC has to run it back. I guess you have to run it back because I thought the fight looked very competitive. I mean, the good thing is that heavyweight isn't a division with a bunch of contenders. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, yeah, Volkov beat Jelton Almeida, but it wasn't like an incredible performance where you're like, oh my God, Volkov, he has to fight for the title next. Especially when we've already seen Volkov fight Aspinall. We've already seen Volkov fight Surreal Gane a couple times now. So you have to run this fight back, man. I mean, I'm this might be a little bit too ambitious, but can they run this fight back for December, Las Vegas, Tom Aspinall versus Surreal Gane? Let's make it happen, man. That would be incredible. Oh man, this sucks. This really sucks because I get it. Gane did not deserve this title shot, but he's clearly the next best guy. If maybe he's not the second best guy, but he's the third best guy. And styles make matchups. And I thought Surreal Gane, like, he's not a fat blob. He's a very good striker. He's a very good kickboxer. He's had that 5 round experience. Like I mentioned in my video, Surreal Gane did a very good job against Francis Ngannou of not getting hurt. Like, the fact that he wasn't dropped by Francis Ngannou in a 5 round fight. I know that Francis Ngannou went in there compromised, but Surreal Gane has no way of knowing that. So that's why I thought this matchup was a little bit more challenging than people were giving Surreal Gane credit for. Like, I get it, he did not win his last fight against Volkov, but like I said, styles make matchups. Like I also mentioned in my video, both these guys are very inactive. Tom Aspinall, he's only been there in that octagon. I believe the last time he was in there was in last July 2024. So, that inactivity catches up to you. And I thought he looked a little bit slower. I thought he looked a little bit slower, and I don't know, maybe that has to do with the fact that Surreal Gane was doing a very good job of landing that jab, landing those oblique kicks, moving around the octagon. And Tom Aspinall, yeah, he was landing, but I think Surreal Gane was doing a very good job of just covering up and taking the shots well, which is something that I had mentioned, guys. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to say that Tom Aspinall is overrated. I don't want to say that he's overrated because I think he's an excellent fighter. I definitely think he's worthy of being the heavyweight champion. But I just hate when people talk about fighters like if they're just some perfect fighter. When I said, look, I think Tom Aspinall should win this fight, but I still have a lot of question marks about him. There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered. And the reason why I was getting excited for this fight going into it was because I thought Surreal Gane had the potential to maybe show us new wrinkles in Tom Aspinall. And I felt like in that first round, he did that. I felt like Surreal Gane showed that, this Tom Aspinall guy, he's not invincible. Like, I could out jab him, I could out strike him, I could defend takedowns. And I don't know, man. I think it showed. I like the confidence and the maturity that I saw from Surreal Gane. I don't think he eye poked him on purpose. Like I said, it's not like Surreal Gane was losing this fight and then he eye poked Tom Aspinall. It was a very, very competitive fight where I thought Surreal Gane was starting to win because I think there was like 20 seconds left. So I thought he was about to win the first round. And then he eye poked him. So it was unintentional. It was unintentional. I know a lot of people are going to shit on Surreal Gane, and I do think he's a little bit of a cheater. But I don't think he meant to eye poke Tom Aspinall, man. I don't think he meant to eye poke Tom Aspinall. And, I mean, I don't know if it should be a no contest. Maybe they should have just given the win to Tom Aspinall. But at the same time, it's like from an MMA fan's perspective, I still need to see this fight ran back. I want to see this fight ran back just because it was competitive. Surreal Gane looked a lot better than we expected. Tom Aspinall did not look like a minus 360 favorite, if I'm being honest. And I told everybody that line was way too wide. Like, I completely understand people picking Aspinall to win, but you cannot count Surreal Gane out. This is a different stylistic matchup. And I always felt, there was always a little part of me that felt like there was a little bit of shenanigans going on between Surreal Gane and John Jones going into their fight. I'm not saying that the UFC is rigged, but if there was ever a fight that was rigged, Surreal Gane and John Jones definitely qualifies. Definitely qualifies as a fight that might have been potentially rigged, guys. But man, this is insane, man. This is insane. Like I said, I mean, this is unfortunate. This sucks. This really does suck because I thought the fight was getting very, very interesting.